Welcome back, my movie lovers, to another Norman Zedrick the Critic review. I'm Alec Perez. Today is a very successful day. We have the most beautiful scenery here. I'm very excited to have one of my good imaginary friends. Please give it up for Mr. William Fighter. He's been my imaginary friend for as long as I can remember. And you're probably asking me, Alec, get out of your head. You're a bit too old to have an imaginary friend. Well, that's not true. Today I want to talk about John Krasinski's new child-friendly film called Imaginary Friends. But before we begin, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and link the bell to get notified about every ranking of Norman Zedrick the Critic's reviews. So today we're going to be talking about John Krasinski's new child-friendly film called If. Now this movie I was very excited to see because throughout time everybody has an imaginary friend, whether it be grown-ups or young kids. They still have that imaginary friend that makes them keep on going and it helps them be exactly like them. But when I watched it, it was so fun. I was very excited to review it. The fact that John Krasinski directed a horror film franchise immediately switched to a child-friendly film that he wanted to make for his kids. It's incredible of how that people this day want to create something for the whole family to watch, since we don't get a lot of that content anymore. So let's venture into this big film called If. But before we begin into the story, let's talk about the achievements this movie made. So I have this at a 48% with critics. A lot of critics did not like it, but it received an 87% audience score. The audiences really like it. Now, I couldn't find the actual box office achievement, but it's been in theaters for about a week now, and I've only gotten this at a 35 million worldwide box office. So not a lot as I really imagined, but I really thought that this movie was going to jump very high in the box office. As we have seen through John Krasinski's films, he's not achieved very well in the box office, since the Quiet Place films have only made at least 300 million. But I'm very excited to see of what Day One is going to make in June. But enough of that, let's continue on with the story. The story starts off with a young girl by the name of Bee. The flashback actress was portrayed by Audrey Hoffman, and it had her parents, Bee's mom, portrayed by Catherine Daddario, and her father, portrayed by John Krasinski, who is also the director. She lost her mom at a very young age, and her father was also having heart condition issues. So she stays with her grandmother, portrayed by Fiona Shaw, for the time when he is recovering and proceeding to that surgery. Her father told her to be a kid, and when she was young, she used to have a lot of imaginary friends growing up. She lost that due to her mother's passing, and what made her have imaginary friends was through her mother and her father. With her mother dead and then her father having heart condition issues, she totally forgot everything what it is to be a kid and to have an imaginary friend. Now, Bee, portrayed by Kaylee Fleming, was staying with her grandmother at the time. She has suspected unusual things going on with the man upstairs by the name of Cal, portrayed by Ryan Reynolds. She went up there one day. She found some kind of kid roaming around the streets of the area that she's staying in, was curious of what was going on. Sooner or later, the next day, she was finding very suspicious things going on with the kid that keeps roaming out, and found out that there was these things called imaginary friends. They are looking for their owners to go and be an imaginary friend with them. She didn't want to help them at first, just because she didn't believe in anything that had to be related with imaginary friends. She forgot about them, and then they started just coming back to her. She couldn't take it anymore and had to go to the man upstairs and saying, like, what the heck's going on? Why am I seeing these people? She finds out that they are trying to look for their owners. And so she decided, if you all can go away, I can help you. So the man upstairs, Cal, took her to a very mysterious place where all these ifs are from. She was very excited to see it, but then also a bit curious. You get a lot of these ifs that are trying to find their owners. And she decided that she was going to help all those ifs and find their owners. So Cal and Bee formed a friendship bond and a partnership bond and decided to find all these ifs to their owners. I'm just very excited to mention about the whole cast cast of these ifs. So we have Blue, portrayed by Steve Carell, Blossom, portrayed by Phoebe Walker-Bridge, Lewis, portrayed by late Louis Gossett Jr. since he passed away, Marshmallow Man, that's voiced by John Krasinski, and now we're gonna get to the list of these A-list actors that are part of ifs. So we have Bubble, portrayed by Awkwafina, Unicorn by Emily Blunt, Spaceman, portrayed by George Clooney, Ice, portrayed by Bradley Cooper, Flower, voiced by Matt Damon, Banana, voiced by Bill Hader, Our Teacher, that's an if also, portrayed by Richard Jenkins, Slime, portrayed by Keegan-Michael Ray, or should I just keep saying voices, Octopus, portrayed by Blake Lively, Magician Mouse, voiced by Sebastian Maniscalco, Cosmos, portrayed by Christopher Meloni, Ghost, portrayed by Matthew Rhys, Guardian Dog, voiced by Sam Rockwell, Alligator, voiced by Mayow Rudolph, Gummy Bear, voiced by Amy Schumer, Robot, voiced by Jon Stewart, and Viola, voiced by Allison Seeger. We have, in total, 21 voices. That is insane. I don't know how John Krasinski did it, how he auditioned all those voices, but I think for what he said, this was the best voice cast that he's ever done in his entire career. And yeah, that's when they decided to find all these owners, and they were trying to find Blue's owner, that's Steve Carell's voice, his owner, Jeremy, portrayed by Bobby Moynihan, who is just a nerve wrack when it comes to speeches. They found where he was, and they brought Blue to the owner. We have Blossom, that belongs to Bee's grandmother. Bee's grandmother was always dreamt to be in a ballet recital. She was a good dancer, and she found out who her grandmother's if was, and she played a classic song that made her decide to do ballet. It sparked Blossom, and it also sparked Blue. They found their ifs, but they started to go a little sad here. Her father was going into surgery for his heart conditions, and he was possibly not going to make it. Bee got very upset with Cal, and Cal told her to tell him a story that made her teary to run to the hospital to be with her father, and that sparked him to regain his life, and they moved back to where they belonged. Things started going very strange here. As she went back to thank Cal, he moved, or she thought that he lived upstairs, until she got into her craft box and realized that, oh my gosh, Ryan Reynolds was my if. He was a clown. Because in the story, they mentioned that he used to be a clown from Lewis, who they went to ask that Bee wanted to help. And she felt very bad that he was trying to get her to remember him. She couldn't remember because that she did not want to do anything with the ifs. And yeah, that's where it ends. Cal finds all the owners for all these ifs, and the mysterious Keith, who's the invisible if, belonged to John Krasinski. That is the end to the story of John Krasinski's child-friendly film called If. So stick around and hear my honest opinion about the review. Alright, so what do I think about the overall review? So the overall review is that this was a very fun film. It was very upsetting, but it was also a very fun film that I could enjoy, and I took all my siblings to go and see. What do I think about the direction here? So when I first watched the trailer to this movie, it was insane. It was really breathtaking of how they captured all those ifs and made them so incredibly very realistic. I loved how the performances were with Ryan Reynolds and Kaylee Finley. For me personally, they kind of shared a chemistry together, which I don't know why I thought that they did, but somehow they really did. And it was very cute when I was watching interviews from Ryan Reynolds that he felt like a child with Kaylee Finley, and that was insanely very nice of an actor. For what I hear, Ryan Reynolds is a very nice person. From Kaylee Fleming, she was very excited to even work with John Krasinski and to also portray her character alongside with Ryan Reynolds. And so you get all of these great fun aspects between the cast members, and everybody did an excellent performance, including the voiceovers for the ifs as well. It's fun, great, yeah, all in words, very, very great for John Krasinski. So I want to talk about a reunion with iconic actors that starred in the TV show Office, Steve Carell and John Krasinski. When I found out that John Krasinski casted Steve Carell, this was going to be a major reunion. I was very shocked actually that Steve Carell accepted to audition for this movie, and for John Krasinski also bringing him into this project. It was a very cool moment right here. Even though the critics downfall this movie, you still get the praise with the audience. It might not be a box office achievement or might not end up in the Oscars or the Golden Globes, but you can imagine here that this film is fun, one for the whole family to go and see. If you guys have not seen it or even heard of it, I would suggest go and give this John Krasinski film a watch, maybe with your family or friends. It's just a very fun film for the whole family to go and see. But I think I captured everything, everybody. If you guys really like this video, I appreciate if you give this video a like and be sure to subscribe to my channel. And also, we have Instagram and Facebook. But with that being said, thank you guys again so much for watching the If review, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.